Hey guys, and welcome to a new video on this computer vision tutorial. In this video here, we're going to do live stereo visual odometry. So in a couple of the other videos here on my channel, we have been doing visual odometry with both like a monocular camera and also a stereo camera, where we'll be using the Kitty dataset for like tracking a car driving around in the environment. In this video here, we're going to convert that to actually do live stereo visual odometry. So we're basically doing live camera tracking with a stereo camera. So the difference is that now we actually have these live images coming in from our cameras instead of just having like some preloaded images where we just want to like track a path that a car has driven. But first of all, remember to hit the subscribe button under the video here and also the bell notification. Only 10% of you guys watching these videos here are actually like subscribed to the channel. It's just a single click and it helps me and the YouTube channel out in a massive way. You can also enroll in my OpenCV GPU course if you want to learn how to use the GPU in computer vision. And for OpenCV, we actually like go over how we can use like feature checking, object detection, background detection, and all those different kind of things on the GPU. And then you can actually like use that to even further improve this live visual stereo visual odometry or monocular visual odometry, because we're both doing like depth maps, how we can use the GPU for speeding up these different kind of operations, so we can improve this code here even more, and we can actually like have it run in real time with the use of the GPU. So thank you guys. So let's just jump straight into the code here in Visual Studio Code. I'll go over the code here step by step. If you want to know more details about some of the algorithms and approaches used, definitely check out the other videos about both monocular visual odometry and also stereo visual odometry I have here on the channel, where we're using like the Kitty dataset for actually doing this tracking of our camera and tracking of the car driving around in the environment. But here we're just going to do live camera tracking with a stereo camera. So first of all, here we need to load in our calibration parameters. So that will be in our calib.txt file. So if you're using your own camera, you should actually like calibrate your cameras. First of all, I have videos about that here on the channel, both for calibrating monocular cameras and also for calibrating stereo cameras. Then you basically just have your intrinsic parameters of the left camera and of the right camera. And then you will also have your projection matrices, which is basically your intrinsic parameters multiplied with your extrinsic parameters of your cameras. So then you will have all the camera parameters here that will be used throughout this video here and throughout the visual odometry class. So first of all, we're going to set up a stereo SDBM. So this is basically for creating depth maps later on, because we're going to find features in the left image, then we're going to match that with features in the image in one frame ahead. And then we're actually going to match those features, finding the best features, and then we can use those features together with depth map to find the corresponding points in the right image. And when we have that information, we both have like correspondences in the left and the right image. And then we can actually like just go in and use the depth information to do triangulation, and then we can get the exact 3D locations of our point in the world. And then by using that information, we can actually like do triangulation. We can get all the 3D points, and then we can actually like track how is our camera moving from frame to frame. So this is the idea behind visual odometry. And in this way here, we're using a stereo camera. Then we just have some methods here for actually like loading in the calibration file and stuff like that. So you should definitely just skip that. We're not going to cover that. It's basically just loading in from files. We can also load in some poses when we're using the Kitty dataset. So we're not using that right now. We're not using load images either, because right now we're just going to open up two cameras, and then we're going to do that live instead of using like preloaded images in this visual odometry. And then we also have a function for forming a transformation from a rotation matrix and also a translation vector. So we're basically just going to skip that. We will have a function here for reprojecting our residuals. So basically when we have our 3D points, we want to reproject those into our image plane again. And then we want to like optimize that so we get as low as possible residual error when we're actually like reprojecting our points down to the image plane again from 3D. We can also get some tile key points. We won't go over that. Then we have a function for like tracking our key points. So basically for tracking the key points from frame to frame. So that will be from image I-1 and for the iframe. So this is the first frame and the second frame in the left image. And then we actually just track those key points over like a couple of frames, and then we use optical flow for that. So when we're tracking key points in the image, we're using optical flow. I have videos about all of these different kind of functions where we go way more into detail. So if you want to know more about like optical flow, both sparse and dense optical flow, definitely check my videos out here on the channel. I'm covering like most of it in details. So we're basically just tracking our key points. Then we just find like the key points that is actually like trackable from frame to frame. And then we just remove key points that is outside the image. So we just end up with good track key points in the first image and in the second image. And then we can use that information later on. Then we can calculate our right key points. So again, as I just said, we have the left key points, we have the depth map, and then we can just find the corresponding right key points when we have the track key points from our optical flow. So now we're just going to calculate our right cues. And basically here we just get the indexes, and then we just take the depth map. So we basically just go in and use our disparity map to do that. We won't go into details of that. Again, if you want to go into more details, definitely just go into my GitHub. You can get all the code in there, and you can see all the other videos that I had here on the channel. We're calculating like the 3D points with our triangulation. And then we can go down here and estimate our pose, which will act like just be an optimization problem, trying to do this least squares optimization, where we are actually like minimizing our reprojection errors or our reprojection residuals from our cues, or like from our key points in the left image, right image, and also our 3D points. So that is how we're estimating the pose. And then we can also have a function here for getting the pose, which is basically like the overall function performing all the different kind of like tasks. So here we have get our tile key points. So we actually like divide our image into like tiles. Then we track our key points here from frame to frame. And then we basically just calculate the disparities. So we have an old disparity map. So the disparity map for I frame. And then we have a new disparity map for I plus 1 frame. And then we basically just have these disparity maps. We pass that into our calculate right cues. So we have the left cues, we have our disparity maps, and then we basically find the corresponding track key points in our right image, because when we have that, we can actually like calculate our 3D points with our triangulation. So we have the left key points, right key points for the first frame, and then this exact same thing for our second frame. And then we just calculate our 3D points, and from our 3D points and our 2D points, we can set up this optimization problem where we're estimating our pose. Then when we have estimated our pose, we're basically just like throwing back or like returning our transformation matrix, which it would actually like be the movement from frame to frame of our camera. So if we just have like some starting pose, and then we just keep multiplying with our transformation matrix, this would actually like be our trajectory and how our camera is moving frame by frame. So now we're just going to close this one here, and then we just have some other different kind of things that we need to initialize. So we have a start pose, start translation, start rotation. We can set up the video captures here for our 2 webcams, or like from our 2 cameras. And then we can also set up the resolution here of our images. And then we basically have our while loop just running. We just read in our image from our webcam. We convert the color here from PGR to grayscale. Again, all these methods here can actually be done on the GPU. So again, definitely check my course out if you want to speed up this process and you want this method here, or like this program, to run in real time. So now we're just going to go down. We have our frames now. So we just get our pose. We have our transformation. We have our current pose, which will be equal to our current pose multiplied with our new transformation. So how our camera is actually like moved from the last frame. So we're basically just multiplying that, and then we have our current pose, which will be our current location. And then if we just store our current pose, we can actually get our estimated path. So if we just store our current poses every time we have a new frame, then we basically just have our whole trajectory of our camera. And then down here, we're just putting out some text with the actual like transformations. And then at the bottom of this script here, we're basically just plotting the trajectory where we are saving and appending our current pose to our estimated path list. And then we basically just show that in 3D. So now we're actually like ready to run this program here. We will open up a stereo camera. Then I'm going to move the stereo camera a bit back and forth. We can see on the actual like image how is the camera actually like moving from frame to frame. We're going to display the transformation matrix in the top right corner. And then when we actually like close our program, we can see the live, or like we can see the live, and we can also see the estimated path. So the whole trajectory that our camera has moved while our program actually like was running. So now we're basically just going to run the program here and see how the camera is actually like moving from frame to frame. So I'll go over here to the right and move my stereo camera a bit back and forth, and then we're going to see the results after that. So now when we close the program here, we will actually be able to see how the camera has moved around. So here we can just see that I moved the camera around here in my living room, and then we can actually see that these parameters up here at the top moved. So not right now it is not changing because the camera is static, but when I was moving it around the camera, it was both doing a bit of rotation in the camera, but it was mostly doing like translation around in the room. So we will only have like maybe like half a meter or something like that. I was moving the camera back and forth. So let's now close the program here and see the results afterwards. Here, hit Q and it will now terminate. So here we can actually see how the camera moved. So these values here should actually be scaled. But here we can see that I moved my camera a bit forth and then a bit to the right, which was indeed the correct one. If we close this window here, we'll also get another one here. So I started here at the 0 position. So this is just our starting position. And then I basically just moved the camera a bit forth. Then I moved it over to the right. So I actually like rotated around to the right. So we were kind of like seeing more to the right of the room. That was also correct. Then we moved the camera over and then I basically moved it back to the starting position, but a bit further ahead than the actual like starting position. So this was actually like a pretty good track. You can try it out on your own camera. You can even like try it on with just a molecular camera. I also have a video about that here on the channel, but this is pretty good results. This is way better results than just using a molecular camera because we have way better depth information when we're actually like using a stereo camera. So this is pretty good camera trajectory. You can like put it on top of a robot or something like that, and then you can track around like how is the robot actually like driving around in the environment. If you don't have like a GPS location or something like that, you can even like merge that information to just localize where are your robot or your cameras actually like they're driving. So this is some pretty good results. This is really crazy. It can be used for a lot of different kind of things, and this is really cool. Again, you can just go into my GitHub, take the code directly, try it on your own, try to like tune some of the parameters and stuff like that. Again, we saw we only got like 2-3 frames per second because we're doing a lot of heavy operations when we're actually like doing these calculations with like feature matching, like depth map creation, like getting a disparity map, and then we're doing a lot of other different kind of calculations. So we only got like around 2-3 frames per second, even though I have a pretty decent CPU. But if you're using the GPU from my GPU cores, you will be able to like run this program here in maybe around 20 to 30 frames per second. So then we can actually like go up and get real-time performance with this system. We both get really high accuracy and really fast inference speed, or like really fast runtime speed. So thank you guys for watching this video here. And again, remember the subscribe button and bell notification under the video. Also like this video here if you like the content and you want more in the future. It really helps me and the YouTube channel out in a massive way. Again, I've mentioned some of these videos here in my computer vision tutorials. So if you're interested in diving more into some of these different kind of things and the methods used, definitely check that video and tutorial out. I'll link to it up here, or else I'll see you next video, guys. Bye for now.